Hey guys, I've got a 10-minute game on the board, unrated against a player rated 3-3-3. So we have the French defence. I've played e4, they've played e6. So d4 grabs the centre. Very typical play. I've been working on the wing gambit against the French, but I don't think that playing that against a 300 rated player would be the appropriate way to go. So let's play the exchange variation. Capturing with the queen here would be an error because it would invite me just to develop my knight. Okay, so now this pawn's protected, knight's hitting the queen, black now loses a tempo. Could have had the option to advance that pawn to the 5th rank, but moving the queen out early is a very common beginner error. Okay. Don't move your queen out in the opening unless there's a very, very good reason to do so. So now we're in a situation where I can get maybe consolidate my development advantage a bit. Let's bring my knight out to f3. So now my knights are controlling quite a few key squares around the centre. Knights like to be inside this square. That's where they can control their maximum 8 other squares. Okay, so now we've got a second attacker on this pawn, but we have 2 defenders. So I don't have to react to that right now. I can develop my bishop here with a pin on the knight. So this knight now cannot legally move. This bishop's probably going to come out to d7. But then I'm going to castle. So castling's worth 2 points in terms of development. And then I'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against 1, 2, 3 if the bishop comes out. Okay, that was not... Basically, if you can achieve what you need to achieve in the opening with development, like moving the bishop off the back rank, yeah, then black's ready to castle, then that's a good thing. But right now, black has 2 pieces out on the board compared to my 1, 2, 3, and also I'm ready to castle. So I drop down here and then b5, bishop to there. I think that's okay. I could go straight here. Nah, let's go there. See what he wants to do. Does he want to go for the double kick? If he does, I'll drop back down to b3. I've always got a3 to give myself a hidey hole. But then my plan is going to be castle fairly soon. Develop this final bishop, probably to g5. Still 2 attackers, 2 defenders on there. Bishop e3 would be solid. Okay, now he's broken the pin. Alright. Let's just castle now. I think it kind of makes sense for black to castle long at this point, because black has no d pawn, so that would put the rook straight on d8, which is semi-open file. And then if this bishop were to move, then that's adding another attacker against this pawn here. But I think still bishop e3 looks solid. If the king does move away, it makes this f7 pawn a bit vulnerable. Knight could come in with a fork on rook and queen, potentially from there. It's going to take 1, 2, 3 moves to castle kingside. What's after that? Knight e4. Kind of improves the knight, hits the queen. Gives me a lot of control over the dark squares. Yeah, that's no longer possible. The bishop here looks quite good, but then I would expect that was just to invite bishop e7. Here, knight takes bishop, queen or knight takes. No. So I think let's just play rook e1. Pin this pawn. Slightly improves the rook, gets it onto the semi-open file, which is what I was proposing that black should have done here with castling, get it on the semi-open file. This means that there's pawns of only one colour on the file, and in this case it's a black pawn, so that is a pawn that I can theoretically capture. If there's any of my own pawns on a file, then the rook is going to be frustrated because that pawn will have to move before the rook can do any damage. So I'm thinking here, and if knight takes, pawn takes, and I'm hitting knight and queen, which would be unfortunate. I think this is weakening though on the queen side, so I don't think castling that way is now a viable option. We've even got d5. Knight could just capture then. So what's the plan? I mean, black could have played b5 straight away. So let's say knight here. If knight should take, I can take the pawn straight away, threaten the queen, so then black doesn't have time to capture my bishop, right? There, knight takes, the queen's going to have to move out of the way. But the queen, yeah, it's interesting. And this isn't a major threat, it's just a kind of a tactical poke, really. Also, I've under-defended this pawn now. So knight takes there is a possibility. I'm also threatening to take the bishop. Just really taking advantage of the fact that black hasn't castled. When your 10-12 moves in, you really want your king in a safe place by that point, if you can. Common beginner error, not castling your king. So if knight takes, I'm not too bothered, because pawn takes with a fork should win material. The queen can't get out of the fork with check because my king is safe. 5.5 minutes now on the clock. Okay, we have knight takes. I think that might be the better move. Okay. So now if knight takes there, knight must recapture. I think that's a good decision. Don't know if I want to allow bishop takes bishop. Okay. But still, in general, I think the idea should be to open things up. There's no major threat from this knight. If I capture there, let's capture the bishop. We're down towards 5 minutes, so thinking about that, pretty much force king to take, and then queen h5 check, pawn to here. Doesn't look convincing. How about bishop to f4? So got 2 attackers on this knight. That would be 2 defenders. I'm just going to take, for want of a better idea. At least black's king is still out in the open. That gives me ideas, opportunities. Knight is defending my queen. So for example, if knight comes here, I've got knight takes or rook takes. Need to get this bishop out. We're now under 5 minutes. I expect queen to take here. So black's doing okay, you know, he's got an extra pawn right now. Let's just get the bishop out into the board. So now 2 attackers on the knight. He's got a couple of ways to defend, to add more defenders. Apart from this pawn, if bishop takes, can't recapture because it would be pinned on the king. Okay, that's actually a good move. Now he's getting ready to castle. However, when he does castle, the queen is going to be undefended. So, thinking about this move, hit the bishop, and then potentially, let's say black castles now, you see, then the queen is actually undefended, so then I get to play c3, hit the knight can't move because of queen takes queen. Let's see if black figures that one out. But also, knight takes bishop, pawn takes is good for me because it isolates all these pawns, which evens the material somewhat. This pawn's undefended. So castles now would be an error because of this. Knight's defended twice, attacked twice currently, but c3 could be unpleasant. Yeah, he's got a check, but I can just capture from there. 3 minutes to go. Alright, so decent move there. Now here, see the queen is defended by the king. So if I go here, knight moves, then I get to swap off the queens and then the king can't castle, which isn't too bad at this point in the game. So once the queens have come off the board, we're technically in the end game, and then sometimes you don't, you want your king towards the centre rather than hold up here behind his bodyguard. However, with 2.5 minutes on the clock, I think we should be okay here. Captures bishop would also have been an idea then. Yeah, I think that would have been perfectly good actually. Take the bishop, still hit the knight, but we've hit the knight. Just over 2 minutes left. This is the glaring issue. This is what really stands out to me. Okay. Alright, so we have knight takes. Oh, not even takes. So surely that's just a free knight. Yeah. Two attackers on the bishop now. Getting ready to play rook A to d1, get it onto the open file. Now I think black's position is starting to look poor. Don't really understand the point of that move. We could have simply played the knight away, queen takes, king takes, and that isn't too bad, actually. But this is just a pointless sacrifice. Okay, now we have a trade of bishops. It looks fine. So I don't even know if castling now is the way to go. Though the queens are still on the board, so yeah, he wants to get off of that file, doesn't he? I'm going to play queen here, And then idea of knight there, with a fork on king and queen, can't be captured because the pawn on g7 is pinned. So the way to spot that is, well, you start with king and queen are on the same colour. My knight is also on a light square, so my knight can move to a dark square. And you just start to spot these patterns more quickly, more readily as time goes on. Okay, let's play rook onto the open file. Down to the last 45 seconds now. I could even sack the rook there, and if queen takes, I have that as again. It might be interesting. Yeah, black should probably have played that, yep. Okay. Let's play just a waiting move. I don't want to initiate the exchange on the open file because then black gets to recapture and then he's got the rook on the open file. And likewise, if he takes my rook, I grab his rook and I've got the open file. So it's one of those kind of impasse situations. Last 10 seconds. It's going to be all over very soon. There we go, win on time. So yeah, interesting little game there. I think that was an early error. You see, so let's just see how these opening decisions by black leads to the fact that he doesn't get his king castled quickly enough, right? So knight comes out now with tempo, kicking the queen. Knight comes out. So I have a small lead in development. Pin the knight. Maintain the pin. So this is a pawn move, does nothing to help development. That helps development. Now I've castled, right? Black's still not castled. Now I get my rook onto the middle file. Kind of pointless pawn move, I didn't really get that one. And now maybe a bit clumsy, now I give up the pawn. And we have some trades. And that's the battle for the knight on d4. And here for some reason. So this is where you really just have to be pragmatic. So retreating the knight would have been perfectly okay. Go there. He's got plenty of options for retreating, right? And then if the queen swap off, king captures there, that's not too bad. But this is just losing, really. And yeah, that was a good spot, seeing the threat of that. And then we simply run out of time. So there you go. So black did get castled in the end and did all right, but yeah, giving up a piece. So I thought he played pretty well for a 300 player, for sure, definitely pretty solid. But I do not recommend at that level probably playing 10-minute rapid. If you haven't got enough time to find decent moves, then just play longer time controls, play fewer games. That's the way to improve. There you go. Right, I've got a chess lesson coming up with my own teacher, so I'll leave you there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon.